is a set of tools, right? It's a self-defense system. It's a set of tools. You need a specific tactic for getting something done. If you have encountered somebody and you're fighting on your feet and they turn out to be Mike Tyson and they're just kicking the shit out of you when you're standing up on your feet, you're going to need a way to change the channel. So putting them on the ground might be a good option. Another example, everybody remember the Gabby Giffords shooting? That thing, right? They finally stopped that guy by putting him on the ground, dogpiling him, and pulling the gun out of his hand. So having the ability to put somebody on the ground, other than latching onto them kind of Hoist Gracie style and falling over, and then you're kind of working from wherever you're at, having the ability to put them on the ground is a really good tactic to have. If the strategy is ground this person by time, then we want some tactics for that. So that's what the throws are in there for. Now when you look at throws in judo, like you watch modern judo competition, guys and girls are doing the throws, they're following their opponent to the ground, they're sticking to them. So judo, you win instantly if your opponent lands hard on their back, right? Good back, fall on their back, and you win. We do that a little bit differently. If you watch older judo films, way back, when judo was first founded, you'll see that the thrower, the torque, doesn't go to the ground, right? They stay up, boom, opponent hits the ground. That comes from jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu, not Brazilian. And Brazilian jiu-jitsu and Japanese jiu-jitsu are dramatically different if you're not familiar with the differences. Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a sport I love, but it's very much dialed into ground fighting. Japanese jiu-jitsu is a complete kind of combat system, meant for military applications. The idea behind the throws were, you create a lever, you make it easier to throw, the person you're throwing is wearing 60 pounds of armor, you throw that person, they smash into the ground with all that force, you're still up, they're stunned from having hit the ground, you pull out a weapon, whatever else it is, and you finish it off. That's a pretty good application for us. We make the throw, they hit the ground, we stomp on their head, and then we take off running, right? So wrestling and judo, the throws, kind of the theory in the throws and takedowns being a little bit different. In judo, we spend time making a lot of levers. That way the weight we're lifting is easier to pick up, right? I shouldn't just say judo, these are actually from jiu-jitsu, but we use a lot of levers to pick people up. That way a 100-pound person could lift a 200-pound person in proper position. Wrestling is much more athletic, much more explosive, much more direct, right? We use a lot more force, a lot more physical force there to kind of get those things done. And wrestling takedowns are very often more control-oriented than damage-oriented. I want to get into position to control, pin this person on the back. Also in judo, you can win instantly by pinning your opponent on the back for 25 seconds. The idea there, if you're on a battlefield in the middle of somewhere and you get pinned down on your back for 25 seconds, you're probably having a pretty bad day, which will very shortly end thereafter, right? So it's going to be a really short 25-second day, but kind of there it is. So judo is really, really offensive. You have to attack the entire time. If you don't attack, you're going to get penalized. So it's very much as an offensive, kind of get in there and do damage kind of a bias. So we land on these mats, and I always have people that go, oh, we need crash mats, we need these mats. And the floor that I learned to fall on was a hardwood floor. It had flex to it, traditional Japanese floor, so it wasn't like you're landing on concrete, it had some flex to it. But my opinion on crash mats, that sort of thing, if you spend all of your time falling on crash mats, you're never going to learn how to fall properly. You should be able to do a back fall in the parking lot and not be hurt, right? Now, if you get thrown on this floor, it's 2 inches thick, closed cell polyethylene, half-inch of carpet padding under there. It's nice. You're not going to get hurt, right? We all know how to land properly. But if we did that same throw out in the parking lot and we sped that up, how do you think that'd feel when you hit the ground? Watch some of Ronda Rousey's fights. She uses the Harai Goshi a lot. She uses that throw, coming off of her headlock setup. And when her opponents hit the ground, I'm trying to think of them. Might have been Sarah Kaufman, but one of the best examples. She hits the Harai Goshi, and they hit the ground so fucking hard. When you watch the replay, it's like her body compresses and comes back up. She's pretty much knocked out right then. Ronda just kind of, let me do this until the referee stops the fight. So that's what we're trying to accomplish with throws. So the reason I'm talking about this so much is, we can't look at throws just being in a sport application. We are trying to do damage. We have the idea of a simultaneous attack and counterattack in Krav, and that's really what we're going for with the throw, right? We're defending a bit by throwing, and the ground is the offensive measure. We want to make them hit the ground hard. So we're going to start with the hip throw.